Welcome to 2025, everyone. Coming into some play with side plank, vinyasa, yoga, I like to call golden dragon training. So we'll begin in downward facing dog, finding stillness or movement, always encouraging intuitive wisdom to guide your practice. Right leg rises, three-legged dog. And then come into that high plank crunch with the knee drawing from elbow to elbow. Setting that knee down to lengthen that left arm up, that nice modified side plank. And then you can play with the arm here, kind of sweeping it back and up and over and down like a beautiful rainbow in the sky, lifting and dropping that back foot off of the mat for some abductor exercise. And if it's in your mobility, you can come into a bind holding onto foot or ankle for a little back bend. Nice. Flipping into wild thing, so that right foot just goes to the other side of that long left leg. And then back to your three-legged dog. To come into extended side angle, Utthita Parsvakonasana. Maybe playing with hand behind. And then we'll sit down in a lizard pose, which is a low lunge with the hands inside of that foot. And then moving into a half split shape, taking the hips over that back knee, maybe finding some intuitive movement here, just listening to your hamstring and giving yourself what you need. Then we'll tuck the back toe, come off the back knee and twist toward the right knee. Left hand down, right arm rises. And then moving into high plank, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale, Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana, exhale, Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana. Yeah, hanging out in downward dog, and we'll play with that on the other side. Left leg rises, three-legged dog. Coming into that plank crunch, maybe moving knee from elbow to elbow. Set that knee down, extend that back leg, lift that right arm up for that supported side plank, and maybe play with the extended arm, creating that beautiful arch like you're tracing a rainbow in the sky, finding some delight, and then playing with that back leg lifting and dropping. You can keep it lifted. Yeah. And if you want to try for that bind, holding on to foot or ankle, really kicking into the hand with the foot, finding a back bend here. Maybe a little smile. Sometimes I fly off my mat in this one. Nice. Coming into that wild thing shape on this side, where that left leg just goes behind the right. Three-legged dog once more. Kind of go out of order here, and I'm moving into a low lunge. And then I'll make my way to the lizard pose, bringing the hand to the inside of the foot. And then tuning into that hamstring with the half split shape, finding stillness or movement here. I like to flex the foot toward the face. Breathing, softening where you're able to. And then I am coming into the twist toward the left knee, left arm rises. And now I'm going into that extended side angle where the right arm rises and then maybe the bicep comes close to the ear. Nice. And in lieu of another chaturanga, I come onto hands and knees and just move the hips forward and back. Sometimes all of these vinyasas in vinyasa flow yoga, it can get a little tiring. So play with it. Yeah, you can go all the way from child's pose to a push-up on the knees for a little bit of a variation. And then come into a rest. Maybe that's child's pose. Maybe you're resting in a downward facing dog, connecting back to the breath and your heart beating strongly. Nice. And from that tabletop shape, fingers spread nice and wide, pushing into the fingers to take the weight off of the wrists, maybe just playing with shoulder movement in that tabletop. And then tucking the toes, lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana. Right leg rises once more. Open the hip up. Take a moment here if you like. We're going to slowly move from elbow to elbow in this high plank crunch. Nice. And then back to down dog for a side plank. So we're taking those heels over to the right and lifting up the left arm. Really feel into that balance. Now we're playing with a tree pose in side plank and then flipping the side plank. Hips rise to the sky, playing with strength and balance here. And then just setting that right knee behind the right wrist for a pigeon pose. Staying upright here. Softening the hips, noticing the hips are parallel to the earth. Tucking the back toes, coming off the back knee, downward facing dog. Intuitive movements here. You can lift and drop the heels swiftly to allow for a little lymphatic shake of the lower extremities, the hips, the glutes. You can come into some deep bends, just whatever feels good. And then allowing the left leg to rise, inhale. Open the hip if you want. Exhale, coming into that high plank crunch, slow elbow to elbow to elbow to elbow. Downward dog, lifting the heels, coming over to the left with both heels. Bringing the shoulder forward to stack atop the wrist as that right arm reaches. Nice for that side plank. So, trying out this tree leg shape in this side as well, and then flipping it. And then allowing for a three-legged dog. And before I come into pigeon, my wrists need a little stretch. So I'm going to take hips to heels, sit up tall, and just take the backs of the palms together, sort of like a backwards Anjali Mudra or prayer hands. And this is a great wrist stretch. So just allowing the practice to pause for a moment to be tender with the wrists, and then the left leg will rise and come into the pigeon pose. Left knee behind left wrist. Sitting up a little taller here, playing with a little bit of a back bend. Yeah, breathing. Then I'm just going to come out over onto the right hip and come into cowface pose or Gomukhasana, where the knees are stacked. And both hips are level. You're on the sits bones. Nice long spine. You can stay upright here, just allowing for the back of the hips to open. If this doesn't feel good in your body, just come to a nice easy seat. Yeah, opening and closing the jaw, just finding some surrender. And if you want the shoulder stretch, you can add some shoulder stretches here with one of your arms. Here I come into the eagle arm with the right elbow on top, lifting and drawing down with the elbows for more shoulder stretches while my legs are in Gomukhasana. And now a fun transition from one side to the other is leave the feet where they are and just make a circle. And now the left knee is on top of the right knee. Coming into some shoulder shrugs. And then playing with the other shoulder stretches. So now the left arm reaches up, bend elbow. Just come into some intuitive shoulder stretches for the other arm. Finding softness in the seat, the legs, the knees, the feet. And breathing into the shoulder stretches, maybe bringing the arm in front of the body. Yeah, and then maybe the eagle arm or Gomukhasana arm. Nope, that's not Gomukhasana, it's Garudasana. Lifting the elbows on the inhale, exhale, drawing the elbows down for the Garuda arms. Garuda is a shape-shifting god. Yeah, just playing with some nourishing stretches here, connecting to the breath, interlacing fingers behind for just a moment. Finding comfort in the cowface pose. Sometimes just sitting momentarily deciding what I want to do next for my body, right? Taking time to listen in to the whispers of wisdom. So now I'm coming into boat pose, Navasana. Nice core strengthener. And then opening up the knees, soles of feet come together to float that bound angle pose and then draw it down to the earth and fold forward. In bound angle, lengthen on the inhale, exhale, draw the shape down. Lengthen up on the inhale, exhale, draw the shape down. Breathing into the back of the ribs here, the back of the hips, softening glutes, knees. Yeah, drawing those knees together with the hands, coming back into Navasana, arms reach, legs extend, and then I'm just going to sweep back into a plow pose, bringing the legs up overhead. If your neck feels healthy, this is possible for you. If not, stay away from the plow pose, coming up into a nice pike and then forward fold with a long spine. Inhale, exhale, round forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, draw forward. Moving with the breath if you like. Yeah, just listening to your hamstrings, and you never have to touch your toes. It's whatever feels comfortable and nourishing for you. Think about drawing that low belly in and up for more space in a forward fold. Taking that right foot to the outside of the left leg, knees bent for a twist here. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, deepening into the twist. Bringing the gaze forward. And then taking that right leg like a baby, binding at the hands, knee in elbow crease, and then lengthening into the right leg for heron pose. So really allowing the chest to shine toward the shin, the gaze to be up, feeling radiant, awakened, grounded, lengthened. Just one of the prettiest poses. And then I'm just going to allow myself to sweep back into plow and then come back up into boat pose. Come into that pike and then forward fold. Yeah. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Connecting to the breath. Moving as deep as it feels nourishing for you to move in these postures. Arms rise. And then doing that on the other side. So the left leg is now left foot to the outside of right leg, both knees bent. Take that left hand behind the body like a second spine. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, twisting. Soften where you're able, looking out over the opposite shoulder. And then hugging in the shin of this left leg, maybe finding the bind if it feels comfortable in your body. Feeling pretty open here because I did that pigeon pose earlier. This is similar to that if you were in a sleeping pigeon. Now we're extending and bending into that left leg, making sure I'm up on my sit bones, finding some nice groundedness, and then lengthening out the leg as much as it wishes to, and then lifting the gaze and the heart, and the spine lengthens for heron pose. So pretty. Now I'm going to sweep back for fun again. Yeah. I think those cowrie shells are whacking into my back there. Now I'm going to play with both legs extended. So I'm taking my forearms to hug my calves, and I'm taking my hands to my heels. Once more, lifting the heart toward the shins, the gaze lifts, and I'm really rooted in on my sit bones. You can also grab the balls of the feet around the toes and lengthen out that way. Both of these postures are found in Ashtanga primary series. And then coming back into bound angle, soles of feet together. Maybe you open the feet up like a book and then forward fold. Softening into the breath and connecting to the present moment. Your beautiful body, your mind following along with the breath, your emotions flowing freely and smoothly, and your beautiful life force energy swirling in all parts of you and all around you, rippling out love, strength, flexibility, and presence. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Namaste.